Good afternoon, all. Welcome to this today's webinar on agentic AI insights for document processing. Thank you to Computer Society of India for helping in organizing this webinar. I am Kinutana, host for this session. Organizations today face a critical challenges like processing massive volumes of documents, invoices, contracts, compliance reports, claims with speed and accuracy. Traditional automation tools follows rigid rules and struggles. When document formats change, agentic AI changes everything. Unlike conventional systems that simply extract data, agentic AI understands context, makes autonomous decisions, and executes complete workflows with human intervention. And these intelligent systems can process thousands of documents simultaneously, adapting to new formats, handwritten notes, and complex layouts without retraining. The results are transformative, where organizations report 20 to 30% faster workflows, processing times reduces from weeks to days, and accuracy rates exceeding 98%. In banking, loan processing that once took 3 weeks now completes in 5 days, with 40% fewer errors. Government agencies have cut refund processing from 8 weeks to 3 days. In today's session, we will equip with you practical insights into how agentic AI is redefining document processing and how your organization can harness this technology to transform operations from cost centers into strategic advantages. We are fortunate to have an expert professional to share his insights on this topic. Let me introduce the speaker, and it is my distinct privilege to introduce today's speaker, a visionary technologist at the forefront of India's AI revolution, Mr. Sandeep K. Sir, a senior manager at Capgemini India. Sandeep Sir represents the vanguard of innovation at Capgemini, a global technology leader at is pioneering the transformation of enterprise operations through cutting edge operations through artificial intelligence. At a time when agentic AI is reshaping how businesses approach automation and decision making, Sandeep Sir brings invaluable expertise in one of the most critical applications of this technology, intelligent document processing tool. In today's digital economy, organizations face an unprecedented challenges where processing massive volumes of unstructured documents with speed, accuracy, and compliance. Traditional document captures solutions simply cannot meet these demands. This is where agentic AI becomes transformative, moving beyond reactive tools to proactive autonomous systems that can manage end-to-end processes independently. Sandeep Sir's work at Capgemini positions him at the intersection of innovation and practical business transformation. Capgemini has developed award-winning intelligent document processing platforms that automate end-to-end data extraction in real time, delivering the accuracy and efficiency that modern enterprises demand. The company's groundbreaking decision research on agentic AI demonstrates how these autonomous systems are becoming core components of enterprise operations, fundamentally reshaping business models and workforce dynamics. What makes Sandeep's perspectives particularly valuable in his hands-on experience with technologies that represent a paradigm shift in how we utilize data and interact with AI systems. As Capgemini's own research reveals, we are witnessing a fundamental change where businesses must learn to delegate mission critical tasks to AI agents, treating them not as backend tools, but as integral team members. Today, Sandeep sir will share insights how agentic AI is revolutioning document processing workflows, eliminating manual work, and enabling organizations to realize their full digital transformation potential. Sandeep sir expertise will illuminate how low code AI applications with deep learning capabilities can empower any user to build and train AI models without specializing programming skills. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a warm, very welcome to Sandeep K. Suresh, sir. And, sir, over to you, sir.
Yeah,
Sandeep, sir.
yeah, I can hear you. Thank you very much for that very descriptive introduction and an introduction to the organization as well. Very much appreciate that. And while we have the audience who is also eager to understand this particular area of work where agentic AI is applicable, I think I'll take the opportunity to get started with this session. Yeah, I
Thank you
hope my
very much,
screen.
sir, for obliging our request. We are very lucky to have you, sir. Thank you so much, and over to you, sir.
You're welcome. So let's get started, right? So agentic AI for document processing and verification. While the topic itself says it's about document processing and verification, one of the, yeah, I'm going to start, right? Okay, so while the topic says document processing and verification, right? It's one of the very critical factor in any particular what to say, like any particular industry or any particular process where a documentation is a very core activity which kinds of validates a personal individual or an organization or a person for any other dimension whose work who kinds of validates that specific data. So in this particular session, I'll be a little covering up on the architectural transformation part for in terms of document processing verification and how it's applicable in the agentic AI space of things. I will also try to cover up with a small demo, kind of a prototyping at the end of the session. And so that you get to understand what is the concept is about, how does it actually work, and so that's about it. And some of the main factors that this particular document processing verification that addresses is most on the risk area, how you go about mitigating them as part of the solution. So before I go in detail, right? While we have a set of audience who are students and professionals. So, given that, I'll give you some kind of background, what agentic AI, how we went go about coming up with this agentic AI approach from the evolution of the what to say, like artificial intelligence and machine learning and so. So initially, it was all about a very reactive architecture we used to do, or a very passive architecture that we used to do, uh, and which addresses a small area of problem, or it might be not that scalable and so. But over the period, we need to be more autonomous because it's all about how fast you address it, how efficient the solutions are in place, so that the outcome is robust and it is also addressing the core issue. So in this concern, there is, if you see earlier, we had this rise of machine learning, right? Machine learning is something, the last data sets we had, we created patterns around those data sets. We improved the data sets basis the behavior or basis the data that gets feeded into that data sets and so. So from there, then arises something called as the cognitive and intelligent assistance. Probably at a very initial stage when I started using iPhones, and so that was the time the Siri was all introduced, and then came Alexa, and so. So it's all intelligent assistance basis your prompts or questions. It try to answer it from the data that is available in that particular models and the data sets they have, right? So that's the intelligent cognitive assistance were coming into the picture. And they also worked on not only the structured form of a data, it's also the unstructured data the cognitive intelligent assistants were operating on. Now, after that, in 2022, we had something called as generative AI, where ChatGPT was introduced in the market. There was a boom. There is a AI. AI was going across every other nooks and corners. People getting to see what is this all about? How is it different? Is it going to what to say, like? is it going to be a threat or is it going to be a boom for the industry and so, right? So that's where we saw the generative AI coming in, chat GPT, DAL and all these things. And we felt like it was more of another Google search, which was giving you results versus your prompts and maybe more contextual for the prompts that we have been doing. And so and there is also many LLM models that was being integrated, which was giving responses for questions that was coming around different dimensions. Now, how we mature from this? Does it address our core functions? Does it address the efficiency? Does it address the other functional and non-functional parameters also, right? So that's where an architectural framework or a kind of an solution that needs to be put in place, which is where agentic AI was coming into the picture. And we wanted an automated process. And this rose as a system which can help you reason, which can help you act towards any goals. And with a human oversight as well, which is always required, right? It is all, everything can be autonomous, but there's also human oversight required. So, which is what the agentic AI as a framework or a solution has been designed. We'll deep dive into that as we proceed forward. And if you see below, there are a couple of patterns or agentic architectural patterns. You see, one is the classic, other is the generative. Agentic AI comes with a little of a hybrid structure, which is both neuro-symbolic architectures that combines both reliability and the adaptability across different systems or different frameworks that is being that can be cross-functionally integrated and enables autonomous automation and so. I'll move on to the next slide. Again, to just give some more background about how generative and the agentic AI is different, because in general, we call it as an artificial intelligence, right? Now, we don't know whether every solution is what every artificial intelligence solution in the market, say it is Grok or say it is ChatGPT or say it is Gemini or whatever it is that all the solution is everything giving the same solution? Is it going to different? What is how does it operate? And so generative AI, when you see the core function of it is to provide you generate content, right? This is the prompts from an existing data. Yeah. If someone is not on mute, please be on mute. Okay. Agentic AI, now this is little of an autonomous way. We'll see how we go about doing this, which kinds of where you have a set of goals or set of objectives set and how you go about achieving it through agentic AI. What are the core capabilities? Content generation and pattern learning. Here it helps you with decision making, planning, and execution of tasks. What are risks and considerations in terms of generative AI? You need to have a careful ethical prompting so that you get the right response and be responsible while you prompt. Fact checking due to risk hallucination, because there is also need of fact checking that's required, because we don't rely on the data as such, which is generated from generative AI. This is where we said like we have different platforms, everyone giving you the generated content, but there is a risk of hallucination over there. Agentic AI, it requires a robust oversight. There's an oversight on this, and it also validates checkpoints for complex actions. Use cases, generative AI, for example, chat GPT, which gives you the textual information, and DALI provides you with a media image related information and so a generated image and so which helps in building a marketing content design, code assistance, data analytics and so. Agentic AI is as it is autonomous. It helps you in kind of a self-driven cars, any robotic systems, logistics, and automated workflows. What level of autonomy we have in generative AI? It's very low. It's like because it needs a prompt every other time, and you need a direction and response to a prompt by generating an output. While in agentic AI, it is high because it can operate independently towards a set objective by perceiving an environment and action over time. So that's a little of difference between generative and the agentic AI. Okay, now why we chosen the topic as document processing and verification, right? Now, why is this topic? Is it what kind of value this kind of provides in terms of a use case where a document processing and verification is required, right? So, for example, since I come a little bit from a financial services background, in terms of a mortgage application, whenever you're applying for a loan or something, right? There is also cost of an application, right? Because it goes through several process, right from a customer service agent reaching out to you, they qualify you for a particular loan, and you run through a specific set of documentation process. Then it gets validated with some kind of external data, and so there's a lot of cost involved in kind of processing the entire journey. So with introduction of architecture, the agentic AI, it says from the market research, it saves around 50% of the time and generates around 40 million or so million opportunities. So which can be around what to say like, and this is a general geographical information, but you can see some of the KPIs which is mentioned here. That's what is the document processing time in a traditional system. For example, in house it takes 100 hours, but here is very minimal, very negligible time which will take for document processing. Similarly, if you see an automation rate is very high. Earlier, it was hardly 10-20% of automation because the application used to be taking 5 to 10 days before you take a decision whether that application needs to take it forward or so, right? Similarly, data extraction accuracy. Data extraction is so that is a document because documentation is not about only mortgages, right? Sometimes you also validate any of your property documents or a procurement document or something like that. To extract that information and get an insight of that, which is also very, what to say, like time consuming, and accuracy was also an issue over that. So which is also improved with introduction of AI here. Lastly, cost per document, which is I said, the cost per application and so which has also been reduced as much as possible, which is earlier in say, if I put other global numbers like 15 million USD or so, and it may come down to 5 million USD and something like that. So that's all about it. And yeah, on the right, you can see some of the metrics which is addressed, like the efficiency, cost savings, improved customer experience, reducing default and fraud risk, and scalability. So yeah, and which scalability is basically the volume, basically the volume of the documents that can be processed and uh, taken it further for processing. Okay, now there's a little thin layer of difference from what document processing is all about and document verification is all about, right? Document processing, when you say, right, it is all about different formats of documents and it is about automating that end-to-end process when you kind of go through a document which is of different formats, review it. So in that sense, what are the stages? If you see, it's the ingestion is one of them, where you have different formats like email, scanners, uploads, or it is taken through an API. And so classification, now you have to see what kind of a document that you have got it into your unstructured repository. Say it is an invoice document or it's an ID document or a contract, how you classify them when it is rawly dumped into your repository. Third is data extraction, how we go about doing it efficiently. We have technologies like OCR, NLP, AI to extract the key fields, metadata, and kind of update those metadata from the extraction. Validation, checking the extracted data against rules or databases. You have some predefined rules in terms of extracting data. So basis that, it will kind of validate and ensure. So for example, if it's a PAN number format, there's a specific format for that, right? So which validates before that the entry is made into your system. Lastly is the integration, again, feeding structured data from other systems like the CRM or ERP and validating it, or kind of creating a lineage with that. So that is the integration part. Coming to document verification part. So verification is more about authenticating whether the document is correct, right? Whether this particular document is in the driving license, for example, is issued by the transport and mode of operation. So
94
is that
points.
the document is valid? Is there any fake forgery in the document? So that is kind of a validation. So basically, it identifies what kind of a document it is, whether it's also do a fraud detection, if there is any tampering, forgeries, or inconsistency in the document. Cross validation of the document, comparing data across multiple documents. Regulatory compliance, again ensuring that document meets KYC, anti-money laundering, or other legal standards. So those kind of regulatory compliance checks will be done in the document verification part. Now, while this sets a little of a background about document processing and verification and what AI is all about, generative and the agentic AI is all about, now we'll also see like where is this applicable from an industry perspective. Is this AI document verification is applicable across multiple industries, right? Say in a financial services, for example, we spoke about it, the loan origination is one of them. From a government side, we can see procurement contracts, the property documents, if those are all, those can be verified and validated. Healthcare insurance claims can be validated, whether particular claim submitted, the hospital and these details are valid and the claim is right in terms of numbers and figures as well. E-commerce, again, the photo capture ID, when you do it, which is also happens in also kind of doing some personalization when you capture a particular person and see what is his interest. And so selfie capture, KYC, and so legal and compliance, again, e-discovery in terms of any electronic documents that needs to be verified against a particular person or a particular organization, that e-discovery kind of place it is applicable. KYC and AML again, right? So these are all some of the areas where or use cases where it is applicable. It can be going beyond this. I'll try to use one of the use case which is maybe personally very valid from your side, but this is more on the industry specific use cases. Okay. Now, what is the market here? How is this applicable only within Vaagdevi institution or a Capgemini, or is it is no, right? It is again, it's a global market. There are many institutions, there are many IT industries, many banks, there are many retail industries, and so. So overall, when you see a market, it is a projected growth of 1.82 billion in 2024. And again, it's about 4.91 billion by 2023. And so with a CAGR rate of 11.66%. There's a little of a business terms, but yeah, just trying to put it over here. Summarize what are the key drivers for coming to do a document verification? Again, risk rising identity fraud, digital onboarding of customers, AI and biometric integration. Again, we have a mobile first and real-time verification systems which is all to enable it over there as well. So specifically to India, if you see, the opportunity is quite high because the size is one is our population, and it's a 5x increase in size by 2023. I'm not saying the population in terms of documents, but so the verification of documents is going to be huge. So there is a huge market here, given the volume and kind of enterprises that will evolve. Manual processing inefficiencies in order to reduce that, definitely this will be a important solution. The regulatory complexity, because there is a lot of regulatory changes that comes in every other what is it like every other period of the financial year, so that we need to adhere to it. So and provide reports and make it more efficient there. India's adoption is accelerating, driven by digital transformation in BFSI, governance, and healthcare. And we hold about 16.5% of global market in an overall, and expected to grow by 27.5% probably by 2023. So which is where we say this is a huge market potential over here, wherein a solution of any solution of this kind would definitely benefit many of these drivers that is mentioned here. Okay. Now taking a small pause here. If you all can kind of open a menti.com, I'll just run a small quick quiz to understand what is our understanding so far, and then dive a little more from here. Okay. So if you can just go to menti.com and type this code, or kind of you can use the scanner also. I'll little stop and reshare. Give me a second. Oh,
రికార్డ్ అవుతాను.
very nice. I might run with some limitation with the number of people who can join this, but uh, not a problem. With whatever people who are able to join this, we may proceed with that. So I'll wait for the count of 50, if that looks good to start with. And I think that's the limitation for the free version which I'm trying. So yeah, I have 50 people here. So I'll start with this. Yeah. What is artificial?
Because you are not audible.
Think someone muted me as well. Yeah. So what I was saying is like all of the answers here is right, and definitely all of the above, because the key characteristics of the AI systems is all of them. But there is also AI applications which you will develop for self-awareness or in terms of reactive machines or automated memory and so, which is also a right answer, which is also not wrong. But all of the above is something that comprises of all the characteristics mentioned here. Okay. What is the main purpose of search algorithms in AI? It's about mostly about search, right? Uh, Whatever prompts you give, it goes and search multiple data sets, sources, and gives you a response, an intelligent response. I think we have the answer, right? Explore possible solutions, right? So whatever different solutions or different what to say, generative AI solutions, everyone gives you a different possible solutions, and it is more an intelligent solution for sure. So it does definitely explore possible solution. I think I have a couple of more questions. Okay, now while I've given you some gyan and background about what agentic AI is all about, yeah, it would be nice if you can answer this. Okay, I'm happy to see I've done a proper messaging here because major of the answers are AI that is capable of autonomous decision making and actions. So that's the primary purpose of agentic AI as a solution or a concept is all about. I take a pat on my back saying like I've probably made you understand that. I'll go to the next one, probably the last one. Yeah. What components are important for designing an agentic AI? Pretty much right. I think it's all of them for sure, because agentic AI is not going to be working as a separate component. All the components work together. Definitely, that contributes to the overall architecture of the agentic AI. So that's definitely right. And with this, I end my presentation on this particular quiz session and go back to our presentation. So while I understand there's a fair level of understanding in terms of what agentic AI, what components are there as part of agentic AI, and so we will proceed further, right? Now we'll see what are the technology enablers for document verification. While I touch based few of them, saying like the what is it, the optical content reader, natural language processing, and so there are many industry solution providers around this document AI. If you see, IBM being one of the major ones, because a lot of the document, if you see the document management system traditionally, you see it is all managed by the IBM solutions and FileNet, and so there is a huge amount of solutioning that is run on top of that, where you do NLP is basically on the different. It's more about understanding the human interaction or the human language that has been mentioned in a document and kind of coming up with a processing that and coming up with an interpret that and coming up with an insight on the top of that, followed by the optical content reader. It's like by scanning the document if it's in a different format like an image or a PDF, and again extracting the content from that and then making it into a readable format or an editable format, and so that is what the tech from a technology enablers from traditionally a document AI does, right? And it's more of it does a little of a human review as well. While for example, in a college teachers, you do a review when you kind of correct your papers and so the students' exam papers and so. But this is also little of a processing which is which kinds of eases the work of uh, reading the answers that has been written by the students. And so that's one way of looking at it. Document AI handles structured data such as spreadsheets, unstructured data, emails, contracts, and semi-structured data. All formats are being taken care. Guys, whenever someone is speaking or when you're muting, just make sure that you're not muting me. Yeah, and if there's anything, just voice out if in case my voice is not audible. So that's document AI, right? Now, what generative AI can play a role here? On the right side, you can see a small diagram. I'll go for the detailed ones for this with a workflow, considering a workflow, where you just inputting a document in a document AI system. For example, I said that IBM system, for example. So you put that input a document in that. There is some kind of reference data or rules and what is it like? uh, rules and reference data that has been provided and designed that it kinds of validates that with that in a specific which is managed in a specific database and then gives you a response
Hello.
or an insight and which is run through a generative AI model. Now that whatever insight and from a document processing you are taking it out, you are inserting that data into a generative AI model. So if you see the left here, so these models will help fill the gaps because sometimes there's a terminology called as data profiling. If you understand what a data profiling is, So you try to kind of round a particular figure and say like you kind of fill some gaps and make it understandable data, right? So which is what generative AI will do here, which fills the gaps of all the traditional document AI, interpreting some of the ambiguous languages if there is a correction in the sentence or if there is a if there is a kind of what is it if there is a kind of comparison between one or more documents and needs to be done, which is basically multi-step reasoning or recognizing characters in low quality or noisy images, and in correcting errors, provide deeper contextual interpretation. So, which is what generative AI will help here from the data that is being scanned and made available to a document AI, right?
Suresh, one
Uh,
question here.
Primarily, it is, yeah.
Yeah, Suresh, so when you're saying that this is helping in Hello, I got muted by somebody. So the documents have been provided. I filled up some forms. Now you have your OCR readers, which will read my document, physical paper, and convert it into a digital form. Now I have missed out filling up maybe say my father's name or something. Now generative AI will look at my other documents, say maybe my passport, and figure out what my father's name is and put it under the father's name box. Is that understanding right? When you're saying it will fill up low quality or things which are ambiguous and it will correct it in the form that I have filled up. Hello, I can't hear you if you're responding.
And neither I am able to hear again.
Suresh,
You are on mute, Suresh.
Sandeep is
Sandeep,
on
you're on
mute.
mute.
Yeah, sorry. I think probably you are trying to do mute all, which mutes me as well. I
no,
got the
I didn't
question.
mute all, but yeah, okay,
Okay. If you're done with the question, I'll take a chance to answer that.
go ahead.
So probably two parts with what you said, right? One is missing data, right? The father's name, which is something that I can verify with another ID which has been provided, or which is there in the system, provided there is an integration to that, and fill that particular data and make it available. Second is an erroneous data, right? So probably you may have a different, it may be two different persons with the same name, but their father's name is different, right? So it can be an erroneous data in case there is a mismatch of the father's name in the particular data or the application that has been uploaded. So which is also can be detectable and can be given as an insight.
But won't that be like, say, if I have not provided that data, right, and you are going and picking it up from somewhere else and adding it into my form, won't that be challenged? Does that not get challenged? I mean, I have not provided you that data, so how can you go ahead and add the data to my information? So that's where I'm a little,
See, there is little of a
not clear
pseudo
in
thing
terms
also
of the
that
US case.
happens. It is not about only the name, right? Probably there will be a couple of things that I would verify. Probably if there is an employee number or if there is an what to say like the date of birth in both the documents if they match it to as well, and if there is an any ID number or a social security number that gets matched. In that case, if I find one or more matches then there is a missing data which is acceptable to fill that data and complete the form, for example, right? If there is no match, for example, if I said 2 to 3 criteria, and if there is match of only one criteria and failing in a couple of more criterias, then there is some erroneous data and there is a mismatch, which is also not advisable to go and fill a data which is just available in another document format and update and provide a output or a result. So I think it interprets in both ways. which is what I say, deeper contextual interpretation, right? So it is not a verifying, it's not goes apple kind of a match which you do. You'll also go and look parameter by parameter and then take conclusion and do it, which has all been taken, handled and processed quite faster. And you also have to make it a robust system when you design it. So yeah, probably I think I'm answering your question. I'll kind of run you through workflows, which will help you understand a little better while I'm just trying to cover the technological keywords and nuances around this particular slide, which I'm running with, right? Yeah. Lastly, when integrated with generative AI, a document AI system can be directed to draft new documents based on extracted data templates. So there are data templates and you can draft a new document or you can generate it. For example, if you want to generate a report, definitely we have BI, business intelligence, which generates reports. Artificial intelligence will also have templates, which wherein you can kind of fill some of the data, kind of a summary data or kind of a synopsis, or you can kind of come up with some kind of recommendations. And so this also can be updated in the data templates that you'll be providing. You have some of the document AI tools, which I've listed here. So these are some of the major document AI tools. And you can further integrate with generative AI to get a more contextual data. I'll move to the next slide. Probably there is no questions. So this is one case slide which I want to cover today, right?
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
This is Rajendran from SAP. Before we go further, just I want to make a correction. In the questions that you asked, I think it is a third question. It was mentioned that it would the AI is self-aware. I don't think that AI has become self-aware, and even if it is become self-aware, people have made it open. So I think it's an error there. So AI is not self-aware yet. Okay, it will take some time. At least with the information that we have, definitely it is not self-aware. Okay, that is one thing. And the second thing is you asked whether it would use less memory, right? How can it use less memory when we are having such big data centers? And data centers are the ones they're burning billions and billions of dollars on building data centers, right? What was that statement? I really don't get it.
I probably didn't mention it as less, but probably it is an option, but it was not less memory. But I'm going to cover that in the coming slide.
Okay.
Well, memory is definitely not less.
Okay. So you may have to correct that third question.
That self-awareness, taken, which is not 100%, which is not completely self-aware, and there is definitely a human oversight, Rajendra.
Even it is not partially self.
Okay, seems everyone got muted, but yeah, while we park that over here, and yeah, you can write to me if there is any other recommendations you have. So yeah, now I go to this particular slide, right? So this particular slide, again, since I'm taking a financial services as one of the use case or example here. So at the left side, you see a legacy set of systems, right? And on the right side is on the agentic AI layer, which we'll come back which will touch base once you give you some background about the client legacy systems. So we have, it's a typical architecture. We have a presentation layer, integration layer, a business applications, data layer, and so, right? So since this topic is more about document verification, one of the primary thing which a CRM system will have is almost the customer data, KYC details, along with the documents for that. So that's something we're going to pick that for now. Now, this traditional system, is that from day one and to the day in today, are we going to convert or transform completely into agentic AI? Which is definitely not the case, right? We have system that has been running for years and years, and all these legacy systems we need to make it more interactive, more integratable, and fit into the agentic AI architecture. So we kind of address the other metrics that agentic AI will address, which is more on the autonomous decision making. So for taking a small example here, for example, the customer relationship management, right? So this is a system, existing system which is running. It can be sales.
You've been muted again.
Is someone from CSI? If we can little check on this mute, unmute, at least unmute me while I present it. Okay, fine.
We can hear you.
Okay. So I don't know where I did get cut off. Basically, what I was saying is like from a traditional system, the traditional architecture, what I was there on the left side. And if you take one of the components, which is the customer relationship management, which has most of the customer KYC details, and it is not you're fitting it into a complete agentic AI architecture as the very day where you come up with this particular system and all these things, right? The agent AI architecture and the components supporting it. So in this case, if you see, there are different protocols that would be using in terms of connecting a traditional business application to an agentic AI agent that will be developed. Agentic AI again will also have. It is not composed of one single agent which will do everything. It's a multi-agent architecture. Basically, it will have one supervisory agent, which will one or more supervisory agent as well, which will kind of connects with the agents, the specific agents, and kind of take a decision, do a decision making from a supervisor agent perspective. So in this case, I'm taking a document verification agent and a compliance agent, which integrates with those specific business applications. And for example, I'm taking the MCP protocol. I'll take a separate session for the protocols and stuff, but for now, I'm just using the terminologies. Which helps you to connect from two different applications and communicate between them. And I'll also use A2A kind of an protocol to connect with the supervisor agent. A2A is again a peer-to-peer kind of an protocol. So basically, because both of them are in the same stack and the same environment again. So in that case, I use an A2A agent. So this is how I'm trying to pull that data from a traditional system to an agentic AI layer. Over a period of time, I will also kind of improve my data sets, which the agentic AI will be utilizing for all the data sourcing that happens and also the decision making that happens on top of that, right? And while Rajendra asked me a question, definitely the memory is a larger part. So there is also a lot of memory also that goes in when you process a data through an agent from an agent AI architecture. So we have different memories or a classification happening here. One is we create a library firstly, and we have memories at which is called a semantic memory, episodic memory, procedural memory, and a working memory. Working memory is primarily on across all the different memories we have, so that it bases a specific characters or specific form. The working memory will be working, and that sends an input or provides a result to the supervisor agent. Further decision making will happen. While this is the structure which is putting it over here, but agentic AI is also governed by few other components. For example, trust and safety. It will also be integrated the policies, the guardrails, decision auditing, and the trusted data. So they're all
You've been muted again.
I'm not sure why the control is given to everyone. Yes.
It should be only to organizer, sir. Organizer.
Yeah, please, organizers, please take care of this particular control. So that's about it. And coming with the observability and the monitoring part of it, right? So we have different monitoring activities here: agent monitor, usage monitor, both at the front end and at the back end. We have monitoring and observability metrics that has been taken care. So that's about it. That's the overall high-level architecture. But what I can do here is like, I know this is a little more cumbersome. Probably it may not give you the exact message or a workflow-based addressal. So I'll just go to one particular use case here where I said it's a document processing agent, right? So taking the example here is like, for example, the loan origination. I kind of input the loan documents here, right? The documents will be uploaded in the document management system, which is the IBM document management system or the final document management system, which I quoted earlier, right? So all the documents are added here and it kinds of identifies the documents, right? It does the classification within this document management system, saying if it's an identity document or an income document, a credit report or any collateral document and so on, right? So once these documents are being available in the document management system, while this is the core area where all the documents have been added, and it goes through this document verification agent. A document verification agent, it is not a specific activity which I said you earlier, where the document AI does only an OCR scan and NLP, but we'll also add few more things in the document verification agent beyond the OCR scan, which does the document content extraction and data update, and also the NLP, which validates. Sorry. Okay, which validates and does an analysis of the data that is gathered. And then after that, we do an anomaly identification using a fraud detection system. Once you have an anomaly detection and there is no issues with that, you do an update a risk scoring system over here. Once you do a risk scoring update, you will also do a decision and rule engine run, right? So which is all about the checklist, rules, and criteria which you'll be defining it over here. Because say, for example, you have a so-and-so risk if the particular customer's risk profile is high, and there is a criteria whether you will take a decision whether to sanction a loan for that particular customer, or if there is any consideration that you can do it, right? So in such cases, when you do a rules and criteria definition over here, there is if the criteria is met 100% and the checklist in terms of all the documents and all the metadata required for is met, that goes for an auto approval and updates the underwriting decision agent, which is the other agent which I showed in your system here. So document verification is the only agent which we are kind of discussing here, but there's also an underwriting decision agent which feeds an input to the underwriting decision agent here. So once you do that, now there is a communication that has to happen to both at the customer side and the internal stakeholders level. So this customer communication there's another agent which will kind of communicate to all the other stakeholders involved here. Now this is a very happy flow, what you're seeing here. Now, the other flow is like there is an uncertainty in cases, right? Because there are some cases which might be stuck for any of the other reasons, for any of the other criteria which might not be true, or there needs to be a manual intervention over here, right? In these cases. So that is where I bring in this UI human oversight. So human oversight is required in such areas, though we say generative AI will be more autonomous, decision-making, self-aware kind of a thing, for example, since I use that term. And I have feedback for that. So in that cases, for example, in those cases, we need which is always handled in an architecture for not a happy flow. There is also uncertainty cases, and by which we don't want to lose a customer for some uncertainty or which needs to be corrected within human oversight. So there is an overriding decision that happens here, and it takes and using that you either forward it to the underwriting decision agent takes them for approval, or you directly update the communication agent saying it is a reject for so and so regions, and then it is eventually the application is rejected, right? So this is how it works. This is how and human oversight plays a major role, irrespective of we have AI agents which might be a self-aware and which might be kind of autonomous decision making and stuff. So these things will be handled through a human oversight area, which is mentioned here. Now develop how you go about this. This is a specific use case which I try to put it here, given area of work which I am doing, or which I be one of the area of the work. So, but how you go about doing this, right? You will have different use cases at your side, which you will be definitely trying to kind of fit into an agentic AI kind of an architecture, right? So, which is what you need to think, and you have to come up with an approach outline, which is what I put it here. Develop some specific use cases that focus on friction points in a document management workflow or any other case. Apply rigorous risk management to explore mitigations. So mitigations is one is you can do a mitigation at the decision and rule engine area itself, or it can be done through a human oversight. But the other mitigations which can be seen here is like deployment patterns that mitigate risk by integrating with agent service providers or building in a secure on-premise environment. Proof of concepts to demonstrate viability of technology. This is before taking it to production live, a clear view of risk and how to mitigate. Apply lessons learned to any subsequent use case and the cycle repeats. So we need to apply all of this so that it becomes a self-aware application or an independent agent which operates automatically. So that's about it. Any questions on this particular agent workflow that has been taken through? Happy to take any questions here or any feedback. Since Rajendran is not there. Okay, while there is a silence, I feel I made people understood this. So that's on one thing. Second, okay, now coming to a small demo, right? I wanted to do a small prototyping because it's becoming a lot of theory and slide walkthrough. While I myself was thinking what is the best way to little demonstrate it. Because primarily when you do an agentic AI kind of an architecture setup, you need to do all this build, deploy, and operate, and then it goes for operational, right? So I thought I'll use something from the out of the box from the Copilot which we have because that's the licensed one which we have within Capgemini. So I thought I'll use that for a demo, just a try from my side, but probably we can kind of fine tune it and make it better. So what I did here is like, okay, I think we are almost running past times 3 or 4. I'll just utilize it. I'll keep it short as much as possible. See, we have an option today in the Copilot to create agents. Because Copilot is not about generating AI prompts, right? I don't know how many of you have explored this, but I took a chance to do a small agent creation with this. So with this, I created a small agent, which is a document processing agent. Yes, 1 second. So document processing agent, and I gave some prompts here. 1 second. Okay. So basically, when I created a document processing agent, and I probably will have to, first thing is you'll have an option to kind of give a, what is it, like some context about particular agent which you're creating, which will give you recommendation stuff. And then you go about doing some configuration in terms of creating an agent, right? For example, creating an agent here, I'm naming the agent as document verification agent, which supports for document verification underwriting during financial services customer onboarding, helping users streamline custom compliance and automation. And coming down to the instruction, right? I'm giving set of instructions whenever a particular person or agent, how will this agent be used? What are the areas that it can be that can be instructed in terms of running this agent? So it has to provide insights to me, it has to assist users, suggest tools and technologies, validate outcomes, right? So I'm giving set of instructions to that. Now, with these instructions, there should be some kind of database, right? Some sort of knowledge set with which the data will be validated, which is nothing but the different agents I showed in the diagram where the integration will happen or where the data validation will happen. So we'll take that part and input as a knowledge here, right? So one is there's a universal data set which Microsoft Copilot will work, but I'm giving specific links over here. I can either upload a data from a cloud, or I can upload from a device, some data from data set from device, so that it goes and validates the data whenever I'm executing this particular agent and do it. What I'm giving here is like I'm giving some links, for example, KYC Hub, for example, but
is generally quite reliable, but with some owner.
You are not audible, Speaker Garu.
I think he dropped off from the meeting.
Oh, who disconnected this?
Not sure. I believe organizer has given all the action to everyone.
Oh, okay, there seems to be some problem. Suma, Suma madam.
Sir.
Yeah, I think there is some problem with the speaker's audio and visual. Please propose vote of thanks. We'll conclude.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. This is Suma from Computer Society of India Academy and Industry Council. As we conclude our webinar today on Agentic AI Insights for Document Processing, this is my honor to offer a heartfelt vote of thanks to all who made this event a resounding success. First and foremost, a massive thank you to our phenomenal speaker. We are deeply grateful to Mr. Sandeep Suresh for his enlightening and insightful talk on agentic AI insights for document processing. Sir, your presentation has truly shed lights on how agentic AI is revolutionizing the way documents are processed and enabling intelligent automation, decision making, and enhanced accuracy. The clarity and depth you provided have empowered us with a better understanding of the practical implications and future potentials of this technology. We appreciate your time and effort.
Madam, you're mute.
Subagaru, there is some gentleman, somebody who has muted you. I just hope people will act a little more sensible next time onwards. Please unmute yourself and continue. Okay, I think she has dropped off. Well, I thank everybody of you that you're there here on a working day. Thank you for your time, and we hope to see you all again in one of the upcoming webinars. Thank you very much.
Thank you.